Hi everybody, so I'm here to show you the stitch pattern for the blanket that I made in one of my previous videos. Everybody wanted to know the pattern, but actually it's just a stitch pattern and you can use it for anything you want. Blanket or some kind of garment or something. This here one I'm making a long sweater out of, and I'm just working on the back panel here. So yeah, and this is just feels like Butta yarn, and and it does feel so good. So yeah, you can use it for any kind of garment that you want. Today what I'm going to use is the Feels Like Butta to show you, and I'm using a 7, see if I can get it here, a 7mm clover hook, and this is a 4-weight yarn. This is the big balls of Feels Like Butta. Usually you get, they're smaller, but once in a while Michael has the big ones, and it's 590 yards. So 2 of these would make a sweater, like, well, not a big long sweater, but a short sweater in almost, I think, up to a large. If you wanted a longer or bigger sweater, one more ball, I guess. But so I'm using a different color. I'm using this nice pastel green. It doesn't show up quite as bright as it really is in person. But so anyway, I'm going to show you this stitch pattern, and it's very easy pattern, and you can use it for anything you want. What I like it for is for blankets, because it works up so quickly. I like blankets, but I don't like how long they take to make. So, and I don't really like using the super chunky yarn. Sometimes I do, but if you want a nice drapey blanket that works up really fast, this is not too thick of a 4. It's kind of like a light 4, but you could use a worsted weight 4, and this works up really quick, like the one I showed in my video that I made for my camper, and I'll post a picture here. Okay, so this is a repeat pattern of 7 plus 6. So what you're going to do is you're going to make your slip knot. Again, using a 7mm hook for this Feels Like Butta yarn. And since your pattern is 7 plus 6, what you're going to do is you're going to chain 7 as many times as it takes to get to the width or length that you want to get with your blanket or garment size or fabric or whatever it is you choose to make with it. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try and do these loose. If you can't do them loose, go up a half a hook size for your chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was, I did two patterns of 7, and then you add 6. So just do 7 as many times as you want, and then when you're finished, add 6 more. So whatever it is, it's a repeat of 7 plus 6. So now I've added 6, so now I'm going to double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook, and we're going to do 4 of those. So that's 2, 3, and 4. It's really awkward to be standing up crocheting. Okay, so there's 4. The 2 that we turned doesn't count. It doesn't count. We count only the double crochets we did. So now we have 4 double crochets. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip 1, and we're going to do a V-stitch in the next one, which is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So double crochet, oops, chain 1, and double crochet into the same space. So the first row in the chain, it's going to look a little wonky, but as you do the rows going up, it's super simple. You won't have to count anymore. Okay, so now we did our V, so it's same on the other side. We're going to chain 1, skip 1, and we're going to do our 4 double crochets again. So 1, 2, hopefully you guys can see this. Whoops. Oh, it's so weird standing up like this. I'm not getting my balance here. Okay, so we did our V1, 2. Oh, sorry. There goes Junior. Somebody's walking on his street, obviously. Junior, hush. Okay, so there's 4. So we have our 4 here, then we have our V, and then we have 4 more. I'm just going to put this down. Turn this. So this is going to be your pattern for however long you're making it. So you're going to double crochet 4, chain 1, skip 1, put a V-stitch into the next one, chain 1, skip 1, and 4 double crochets. So you're going to carry that on, chain 1, skip 1, V-stitch, then 4 double crochets. And I'll meet you up when I finish or get close to the end here. Okay, so I'm just down to the last 2 double crochets. So again, you know what your pattern is. It's double crochet 4, V-stitch in 1, double crochet 4, V-stitch, and between the V-stitches you're going to have a chain 1 and skip 1. Chain 1, skip 1. So it'll be very clear once you get to your second row. Just get through this first sloppy chain and you'll be fine. Okay, so we still need 2 more double crochets at the end here. So there's 1 and there's 2. Okay, so there's our last one at the end. So now in order to go up to the next row, if you watched my other videos, you know I do a 1 up. So I do 1 chain, turn, I always turn it towards myself, and then I do the stitch in that very first hole. So I'm going to do my double crochet, right in there. Whoops. It's awkward in air doing this. Okay, so that's 1, and we're going to go back across and do our same pattern. So we're going to double crochet 4. There's 3. Oh, jeepers creepers. There's 3, and our final one. I should be sitting down doing this, I guess. Okay, so there's your 4. So now you have your space, you have your V-stitch with the space in the middle, so you need to do your chain 1 again, like you did down below, and you do your V-stitch in the V-stitch. So it's very easy, and you almost don't even have to look once you get going. So that's your double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into that V-stitch. And then again, your chain 1. You don't have to worry about thinking about skipping them because you're just going to go into your double crochets. You're going to do 4 double crochets again. 1, 2, 3. Trying to be as flat here as I can be for you without sitting down. Okay, so there's 4 on top of 4. Now we're coming to our V-stitch again. So chain 1, V-stitch in the bottom V-stitch. So double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. And there's your V-stitch. So now chain 1, and then you do your 4 double crochets again. And that's basically the whole pattern. So we'll do 1 more row. Super simple. And it goes so quick. It's unbelievable. I love this. Then you do your 4th one. So there's 4. So let me put this down. So now as you go up, you're going to really see the pattern. So you can see your 4, you can see your chain 1 space, you can see your V, your chain 1 space, 4, chain 1 space, your V, chain 1 space, and your 4. And then I will just do one more row. So you're going to chain 1, turn, this is the 1-up method that I use, and do your double crochet in that very first stitch. This makes it so nice, a straight line up on the side. So it's, oh gosh, okay. I know, I feel like I'm struggling because I'm not used to just crocheting in thin air. Okay, so I usually have my arms down leaning on something. Okay, whoa, get this back in here. Okay, so there's my 4 double crochets. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to put a V-stitch in the V-stitch. Maybe crocheting in the air is making it look more difficult than what it is. Okay, so chain 1, and all you got to do is you're just following the bottom. 4 double crochets, 4 double crochets. This is such nice soft yarn, and it so rides through the hooks so smoothly. There we go, and then we're gonna chain 1, put our V-stitch in, oh, I need a little bit more yarn here, chain 1, and then our 4 double crochets. Now you can do a lot of variances on this pattern, you know. If you're using a different size of yarn and you want a different amount of see-through holes or solidness or whatever, I mean, you could change it up easily. You could put 3 and then your V-stitch. You could even do like 10 in a V-stitch, 8 in a V-stitch. You would just have to figure out what your chain count would be. But this one here is a repeat of 7 plus 6. So you do all your 7 however long you want, and then you add 6 at the end, double crochet into the 3rd chain from the hook, and then you just do your pattern. So now on my edging for my blanket, I did the cuff stitch. So there's a lot of really good tutorials for that. I'll try and find one that I started with a long time ago, or a good one, and I'll just link it below. I know there's a bunch of them out there. So I'll just show you quickly how I did the cuff stitch, but depending on how big your blanket is how wide you're going to want it. On my blanket, I had the cuff stitch, because it's blanket size, I had it, you know, about, I would say 4 inches wide, 4 inches. But if you have a small baby blanket, you might not want such a big cuff. And it looks really, really nice. It's a nice edging. And but you can put any edge you want. When you get up to the length you want, you can go all the way around. Me, I just went on the top and the bottom, but you can do any way you want. Okay, so to do the cuff stitch, you won't have to cut off your yarn at the end. So you'll just carry on from here and do your cuff stitch. But the other side, of course, you'll have to cut this end off and then restart. But before I do that ribbed cuff stitch, I go across half double crochet. So I'll chain 1, turn it, and you go in the very same one for this 1 up, and then I'll half double crochet across the whole bottom, so it gives you something more sturdy to start your cuff stitch in. And I wouldn't go a single crochet, because then I think it'll be too tight and gather it up too much. This way it's a little bit looser. So you're gonna do your half double crochet in every stitch across. This is your space. Okay, So I've done the half double crochet stitch across, and I wasn't really prepared to show you this cuff edging, so just bear with me. I'm going to give it a go. So we have our half double crochets across. Now, starting this cuff stitch, this one here, I'm just going to go up maybe, I'll just do a small cuff, but on a blanket, you know, put however many you want. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to keep it at 5. So you got to add 1 for your top turn for when you're coming down. So you're not going to do, you're not going to use that one, but you're going to single crochet all the way down. So you're going to go 1, oops, hope I'm in view, 2, 3, 4. It's so different when you can rest your work down on the table. 4, or on your lap. 5. So I have 5 here. Now, you're not going to do the first one because that's where your rib is. So you're going to do a slip stitch in the next one and a slip stitch in the one after that one. And then you're going to turn. Now this is the one you just did, and that's the other slip stitch. So you don't want to go into that one. And we're going to be going into the back loop because we're making post stitches, right? So we're going to go up this side. Whoops, I just said don't go in that one. So we're going to do in the back post, we're going to do single crochets going back up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you always have to chain 1 at the top so you give yourself room to turn. And then you're going to do the same thing in that back post coming down, and you're going to count 1, 2, God, hopefully I'm not too close there, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now again, we're not going to go into the first one because that's where we're sitting down our stitches. So we're going to do the next one a slip stitch, and then the one after that a slip stitch. And then we're going to turn. We're not going to go into one of those 2 slip stitches we just worked at. We're going to go back into the single crochets, and we're going to go back into the back post and count 1, 2, hopefully this is making sense. Come on. 3, 4, 5. And then what do? We got to chain 1 again so that we can turn, and you don't go into that one you just chained up. It was to turn. So now you're going to go back post again. 1, 2, 2. Oh, it's so hard doing it like this, standing up. 3, 4, turn this around, and 5. And then we don't go into the first one. We go into the second one, slip stitch, and the third one, slip stitch. And then turn around, and the same thing again. We don't do that one, don't do that one. Go into the first single crochet. And then basically, I always count to make sure I have a nice even one. So it's 3, I'm running out of yarn. It's 3, 4, 5, chain 1, turn, and come down. So basically, that's what it is across till you get to the end of your blanket, and it really finishes it off really, really nicely. So I'm just going to stop here.